Prelude is a short story in 12 tiny chapters by the New Zealand author Katherine Mansfield. Mansfield moved to England in 1903 when she was 19, then travelled around continental Europe before returning to the country of her birth, where she first began to write serious fiction. Her first collection, In a German Pension, appeared in 1911, but she grew unhappy with it. Prelude marks the beginning of a mature style. It was a while in the making. She produced a longer version called The Aloe, painstakingly writing and rewriting it until she reduced it to an essence. It came out separately as a novella after her death. Prelude, published in 1918, is about a family, Linda and Stanley Burnell, and their three daughters, during a house move from relatively cramped accommodation, that awful cubbyhole as one of the characters describes it, to a bigger house in the New Zealand countryside. It may have been based on a move Mansfield's own family made when she was a child. Mansfield's interest lies not principally in what happens, but in the inner lives of our characters. The story is only around 20,000 words long, but there are 17 characters in all, and they're nearly all given their moment under the magnifying glass. Some of them acquit themselves better than others, though Mansfield is never explicitly judgmental. Stanley, the successful businessman and head of the household, is self-satisfied and rather vain, although not entirely unpleasant, and he does love his wife. Linda, his wife, is dreamy, but sometimes she just wants to run away. Beryl, our unmarried sister, is the story's most complex character, highly intelligent, deeply frustrated, and capable of perceptive introspection. And then there are the children, chief amongst whom is Kezia, the sensitive, warm-hearted infant. Critics generally agree that Prelude's central theme is the repression of women. Beryl and Linda show where women tended to end up in the 19th century, but Kezia, curious, outspoken, and free, shows their constraint was never foreordained by nature. There are moments of humour, but only such as throw light on the characters, such as in Chapter 3, where Beryl asks Stanley if he wants more tea. "Well, you might give me 5/8 of a cup," he replies. And in Chapter 9, where Pat the handyman decapitates a live duck to entertain the children, causing them all to undergo what's recognisably profound traumatic stress, partly disguised as uncontrolled laughter. Katherine Mansfield went on to become one of the main figures in the early modernist movement, an associate of the Bloomsbury group, but too much of an outsider ever to properly belong to it, and a feminist role model. Her early death in 1923 from tuberculosis was, apart from its inherent tragedy, a profound loss to literature. Luckily, she was relatively prolific. And 1922, The Garden Party and Other Short Stories is nowadays often considered one of the best collections of the 20th century, but in fact nearly all her stories are outstanding. Prelude is probably where her distinctive greatness began.